Greetings everyone, here's Lodrik and this is the game War in the Pacific at Mel's Edition, and this is my play by email match against KilRoy. He is the commander of the Allied forces. For me it is the Empire of Japan. This is already the 20th March 1942, and I'm picking up here a dot base in central Sumatra. KilRoy is pushing at Marcos Islands and near Saipan with his carriers and battleships all over the place. At the same time, I have an operation going for Fiji. And my operations on Java, Sumatra and Dutch islands are over. So I prepare my next campaign for Rangoon. But this will maybe need still some days. And in China is still pushing forward, but the supplies are still a handicap for me. This is at the purse, but my rowboat don't hit the tanker. Still more bombardments on Saipan, but more or less no one hit each other. Now here heavy cruisers against Marcos Island, and my already heavily damaged base forces getting weaker and weaker. Wake Island, sub against sub destroyers. Nothing happens. Still more stuff is coming, and normally I hope that my battle cruisers will maybe engage now. And here's also still one. I can never see the colors under this, so it's I think maybe a British submarine. Yeah, and these are my battle cruisers just arriving at Wake. I was hoping to mess up with KilRoy's invasion attempt, and first I encounter here maybe the outer patrol, 2 destroyers. Hopefully I can overcome them fast and can destroy many of KilRoy's transport vessels. But the problem is that 2 destroyers are simply taking all these shells and the beating, and maybe I will run out of ammunition before I really can do seriously damage, because destroyers are, for the Allies, I think, not really an issue. There was a 5-inch shell hit already, but this is maybe not enough to stop the enemy, and Allied destroyers also have torpedoes, and 1 torpedo hit would be already enough to force my battle cruisers to return. So I hope I avoid this. So now we have this very short range There's the first 36 centimeter or 14-inch shell hit on the destroyer. And a 15 centimeter or 6-inch is also already on the target. And it is easy to see that the Jarvis is already crippled, and now it's very easy to hit this one ship. So Jarvis already is out of action. This was okay, but there's still a second destroyer stopping me. Now the Allied task force tried to escape. And there's a collision. One of my battle cruisers hit an enemy or my own destroyer. That is always possible. But at the same time, I'm able to get a big hit on the enemy destroyer, so maybe he's now also crippled. And there's 5-inch shell hits, so. In the next. So, this will be I think the end of for the Craven.
Hello, all you poor GIs and Marines. This is Orphan Ann at Radio Tokyo, bringing you some hot music and another blow to your morale. Today, our High Command announced that the Imperial Navy has achieved another great victory near Wake, with the sinking of 2 carriers, a battleship, and numerous cruisers and destroyers.
So, numerous enemy warships sunk here. That is true. That is not a lie. And everything else is maybe simply a misunderstanding. So I have here 2 of my destroyers getting a little hit. The problem is that I think this destroyer had a collision with Congo and is now heavily damaged. And yeah. These are now only PGs, I think. These are maybe, I guess, or corvettes. So 2 Canadian corvettes, I think. That is easy. They are simply too slow. They cannot avoid gunnery. And now I am at the more juicy equipment. So 3 AAPs plus 2 escort ships. AAM and I think a destroyer securing this task force. So I think there's not much to see because this is easy going for me. The Allies trying to escape. And the total destruction of the Allied task force. No hit on my ship. I have here a little fire. And all 3 APs, AEM and DD go down. But I come too late, already finish unloading. And there was the first torpedo make no explosion, the second one torpedo makes the explosion, the second not. And one is enough to sink a tanker. It's always full of fuel, it's burning, then impossible to handle more. And this is AP, not an AP. I put my BP patrol boat finding enemy AP and a cargo ship. The problem is only that these APs they have also heavy guns, so my patrol boat really is not for fighting. And I sent this in simply to support my battleships to mess up with allies and maybe detect mines. Well, now it's try to escape. Yeah, and that's what I think was Wake Island. The other one was Marcus Island. So my long-range Navy bombers picking up enemy destroyers and heavy cruisers. But here are also still dauntless dive bombers. Oh, dangerous, dangerous. And I sweep the Rangoon again simply because my invasion fleet is coming soon and I want to make sure that there's not any surprise. So, but there's only one flying tiger left here in position. And maybe now not more. And today I have escort zeros with me because I was not sure if maybe KilRoy will use this opportunity to trap me, but at the end it's not happening. So, bombardment everywhere. And this is Wake Island, so this is Wake, and here are some Dauntless. And all my battle cruisers have is some Peter low support. I mean, Pete is really nothing more than only to mess up maybe with the coordination of the enemy air force. I'm not really sure if it's working. They never really did anything. Pete have only 2 light machine guns, so for Catalinas they are slow. You can maybe really stop them. And Dauntless I think is already too fast for Pete. So don't expect here really much defense power. All 13 Dauntless can pass the air screen. Now we have a dive on my battle cruisers. But these are land-based dive bombers. They're coming from Wake Island. Because enemy carriers are at Marcus Island. So, and luckily the Americans are able to very skillfully not hit the target. Tja. All 13 dive bombers, only 12 return to base. And today my Oscars are back. They rest I think 1 or 2 days. KilRoy is coming. And again 6 or 7 bombers less return to base. And now there are the Vindicators. 15 of them. And here's a hit on my destroyer. And that is of course far away from everywhere. Luckily only 1 bomb hit. But these are the 2 ships that was damaged already before. And this heavy damage from the other destroyer is from the collision. So these are already the slow destroyers, and now they're getting additional damage. Also sweeping wall mine, but there is nothing more left. The Allied Air Force is not more active in Burma. KilRoy keep everything back for to defend India, I think. And this is Marcus Island. Yeah, there was my PG boat had this encounter with this enemy AP. And bad weather is grounding Air Force. And I cannot find the target. Yeah, cannot find the target. Ugh. But 9 Nell bombers find the target, but they are destroyers, and this is not easy to hit now. And I don't have an air HQ, so I can only use bombs, but no torpedoes. Yeah, and all bombs hit or miss the target. More bombardment. And more Dauntlesses coming from Wake. And taking my battleships again. My Peats cannot really engage more. But they all miss my battleship or battle cruiser. The game still calls them battleships, and yes, they are battleships, but later you will find out why I not call them battleships. I would still call them battle cruisers. There is a reason why. So Vindicators coming back. All 16 of course can pass my air cover. And they're going for the already damaged destroyers, and now oof. So have you at least I think 2 destroyers with bomb hits? And maybe here is number 3. So if I had maybe more air cover, I'm losing now here 2 destroyers directly at Wake Island. But you must risk something sometimes. And I was hoping that I can maybe kill here a lot of cargo ships. At the end I find 3 enemy destroyers plus 3 APs and some other equipment. If it's a good trade, I would say it's okay. It's not that Japan have no destroyers, and also I will produce every month roughly 1 destroyer, and 42 and maybe 43 I start with 2 destroyers per month. In 44 maybe with 3. But yeah, I would not waste them. This was not a waste, I would say. It was a gamble, and it's paid off, but yeah, not perfectly. But what is perfect in a war? Good, and this is the aftermath. 2 more corvettes somehow they are here, and okay, I take them. Thank you. Will make let my submarines later operate more quiet. So I think KilRoy lost in total 4 destroyers and 4 corvettes plus 3 APs. That is something. And this is Marcus Island again. Here are the enemy carriers. But here is Marcus Island, and here is Wake, and his carriers are maybe here, so I must really leave this area. I cannot stay much longer. This was the one day opportunity to make a surprise interception. With still the high risk that maybe KilRoy already moved his carrier back to Wake, but luckily it was not that case. Good, attack on Changsha. fort is still 0, and finally the Chinese give up. And they retreating northwest to Shenzhen. Not easy victory, still many disabled units, but yeah, for KilRoy there's many more destroyed. And I also catch up with the first Chinese war area army. They retreating direction Yinan. Still not broken, but much less attack value left. So, but the good thing is they are still walking down the road, and I can catch them more easy. And if they jumping back in this no man's land, I never really know what to do. And this is my bombardment on Marcus Island, simply because there's no hope for this. Here, the Americans taking Marcus Island. My forces were simply totally fatigued and no supplies left. So KilRoy took Wake back, and now he also take Marcus Island. But at the same time, I was able to inflict some damage to his shippings, and in China I still can push forward. Good. So a very active turn. At least we had some navy engagements. Nothing really well balanced, but there was some activity. The Oscar's killing 10 Chinese bombers in China. At the same time, I'm losing also 2 of them for ops losses, or maybe this is also flight over Rangoon, so hard to say. My Oscars are able to kill the last flying tiger here. One of the Vindicators had ops losses after all of these attacks, and I was able to kill 2 of the Dauntlesses directly or after the activity. Also burned 3, so 12 to 5. I lost 2 of my own pilots. Okay. Ship sunk. Last turn for me. It's 2 first-class destroyers. These are Carguero destroyers. They are good, but I can really. These are the best destroyers I have, more or less now. But they cannot tank anything like that 1,000 pound bomb. Maybe a 5,000 pound bomb, maybe a destroyer can handle, but 1,000 is already, it's an upper limit. And it's pity to lose these 2 ships, but at the same time I was able to at least, and this is confirmed, 4 corvettes, this is already good, plus 3 enemy destroyers. So that would be already a good trade, and then I have additionally 1 tanker, and most important is 3 heavy APs. And this simply will reduce the ability for the allies, for KilRoy, to move troops in the future. At least in 42, maybe not more in 43, but now in 42. Okay. China, I took Changsha. Unluckily, there is not much industry I can really get out of this. This is, maybe I will fix the heavy industry and then it's all. Still, I kick here this Chinese Northern Yan'an army, and it's now near the end, I think. Maybe 1 week more, and then I can maybe finish these operations. Here in central China, I have still the issue that I'm running lower and lower in supplies. Or very low. I cannot really fight with all of my forces at the same time, or I have still my indication is always Tokyo. It's getting better now. Before I was always at 40,000, so I start slowly building up more supplies in Tokyo. Now I'm at 72,000. So I have maybe 30,000 tons backup supplies in Japan. Yeah. So yeah, maybe because we are just in Tokyo. I was also able to bring in more resources because normally I would always say keep the resource stockpile in Tokyo over 1 million, then everything is fine. This is really, you can always check tracker and everything else, but at least for the basic industry of Japan, it's very easily normally to handle everything over Tokyo. See that you have the additional supplies are more or less always in Tokyo. So you have see what is the top. If you triple this number and deduct this from this upper, then you know how many supplies you have left over. The resources must be normally over 1 million to have enough and have enough buffer. And the crude oil, I don't know. You don't really need too much crude oil, but I would say if you have less than 500,000 crude oil, you better ship crude oil back to Japan. You have only two big refineries in Japan. One is in Tokyo with 200, and the other one is in Osaka with, I think, also 200. Yeah, these are the two big ones. Good. My invasion fleet is coming now. Next one, I simply swept all bases to minimize enemy air presence. And so far, nothing surprised me here. I catching up also with his Dutch forces out of Medan. And I'm walking out of the swamp, maybe 1 week later. Nothing more to see here. There's really nothing left. More stuff and equipment is going south to New Caledonian and also later for Fiji. I more or less sent what I loaded up to now to unload in Nadi because I want first finish Suva as quickly as possible, and then I come maybe back and pick up the last what is left here, 300 attack value plus a lot of support waiting for me to coming. Picks them up and brings them also to Suva. I don't really need too much attack value here, but now I have here 700 attack value. This will maybe enough to quickly finish Suva. And then I can build up here the base, and then we will see what is the next steps. Marshall Islands are empty or not active. Wake, we had this, my cruisers going in. Oh no, not this one. No? Ah no, they are still in the base. Yeah. So I have here some submarines also to helping. I lost my 2 destroyers. This is only little damage. This is okay. Now I'm also low on because I full speed in. I have refuel, and then I must also escape here because the enemy battleships carriers are here south of Marcus Island, and there's more. Plus here are 9 heavy cruisers or whatever. So there's a lot of firepower. My Congo battleships now also very low on ammunition. I cannot really take here any more battle. And this is the Congo had this collision, and the collision making the damage. All other fighting normally nothing. Only some engine damage from full speed. Good. Hopefully I can escape here and not. I must only come close to Truk, and then I have air cover. Of course, KilRoy can still come with his carriers and go all full in, but I can at least in Truk I can have here some zeros to cover me, and also torpedo bombers. Good. Yeah, Marcus Island is of course lost for me. I thought they already won last turn, but okay, there's a little left, but the base was getting destroyed. Now it's only the last small pieces of my Navy Guard units. And KilRoy is also in Pegan and builds up this base to, I think this they need or will use later for maybe a future attack on Saipan. Saipan is for me, I cannot do anything with this too damaged, no supplies, and it's too risky for me to bring anything to Saipan. So I simply give up Saipan first and to Marcus and Wake, and I only try to hurt KilRoy as much as possible and finish my operation in Fiji, and then maybe I can come back and then I can reconquer all of these islands, hopefully. Thank you all, see you next time, take care, bye bye.